Hi everyone, today we're starting volume of 3D figures and we're going to start with prisms and cylinders. So go ahead and find that in your foldable and we're going to get started. Okay, what is volume? Volume is the amount of space occupied by a 3D figure. Okay, write that down. Now, what this means is when you're occupying space, that means how much space are you taking up? So we're filling in that 3D figure all the way, and we're calculating how much space it's taking up in the 3D world, okay? So we're going to start with the two formulas. So prisms and cylinders. I have two prisms here, rectangular prism and triangular prism. Then I have the cylinder over here. So both of the formulas are going to be the same. Volume equals big B times H. So go ahead and write those. Volume equals big B times H. One thing I noticed for surface area is if there's two variables like this next to each other, a lot of students forgot that that means they're being multiplied. You don't really see the multiplication symbol there, but it means multiplied because they're stuck to each other. So you multiply the area of the base times the height. Same for a cylinder. Unless you see a literal addition or a subtraction or a division, when they're next to each other like this, that means multiply. Okay, so hopefully we are catching on to that by now for the volume notes that we're about to do. Don't forget to write down that big B means area of the base. So your big B in the formula is going to change depending on what base you have. This was another struggle in surface area where you had to stop and think, what is the shape that I have for my base? So we're going to write down the area formulas for these two bases. So it's highlighted on your note. So for this one, this rectangular shape in the bottom is my base. Okay, I'm just going to highlight it just so y'all can see. And then this one is the base for this prism. So that means when I do my formulas, when I use them, when I apply them, I need to find the formula for that base. So for a rectangular prism, what is the area for a rectangle? Length times width. Length times width. So write it down. That means that when you have a rectangular prism, you're going to have to do this side work and bring it back into the formula for your area of your base. Okay, so for a rectangle, it's length times width. For a triangle, it's not length times width. It's 1/2 base times height for the triangle. So the base of the triangle times the height times 1/2. Okay, so notice how I'm pointing at the part that you need to look at, because in surface area I have students using the height of the prism here or using the base. I don't know, it was just chaos, but this is specifically for the base only, which is a triangle. So with the triangle, you're looking at the dimensions of the triangle and you're going to figure out what the area of that triangle is, bring it back to the formula, multiply it by the height. Okay, and for a cylinder, notice how it's the same formula, but we like to be more specific because circles are not like these shapes. These shapes have edges, circles don't. So we use the pi symbol, pi r squared. That's our big B. So whenever we write our formula, I like to just write out my pi r squared as part of the formula. So the area of a circle is pi r squared, so I'm going to bring that into here. And I'm going to use this formula for future references. So make sure you have those formulas written down and have them correctly. Remember, the squared is an exponent here on top of the r. It's not times 2, it's squared. Okay, so write that down. All right, and let's get started using these formulas. So first example, Find the volume of a rectangular prism. So first piece of information, a rectangular prism. This is the biggest hint as to what shape my base is for this prism. It's in the name. The shape of the base is a rectangle. Another thing I want to label on here, since I already see it, is the height of the prism. So since this rectangle at the bottom is the one that they wrote these right angles on, I know that this is my base. So from this bottom base to the top base, how high is this prism? 6. So I'm going to label that as my height. Also, go ahead and write the volume formula here on the right side. Don't put it in here because we're going to do our side work first, and then we will plug it back in. So just write down volume equals big B times H here on the side. And again, I'm going to have you draw the base. So it's a rectangle. Here's my base. And those are the dimensions that I can tell are from the image. Okay, so 3 and 5 are my dimensions for that rectangle. So now that I know the dimensions for that rectangle, make sure you draw it. Now I can find the area of that rectangle. So the area of the base, big B, is length times width. The area of the base is length times width. So what is 3 times 5? 15. Good. All right, and I'm not done yet. I need this 15 to plug into my volume formula. So let's bring it over here. Okay. We did the side work. Now, and we already know what the height is. I labeled it. The height is 6. So then we just plug that in. 15 times 6. 90 miles cubed. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. That's our final answer. The volume of the triangular prism. So this one is the one where we get a little confused when we see a triangle, but it's the same way. I'm going to underline first that it's a triangle prism. That's telling me what the base is. The base is a triangle. Write down the formula. Volume equals big B times H. Label the height. The height here is 4. Okay, biggest confusion. Students think that this is the height. And you're not wrong. This is the height of the triangle, but it's not the height of the prism. The prism height is between the two bases. So between those two triangles, the height is 4. So I want you to see that one more time. My base is a triangle, so I'm going to draw that triangle on its own with the dimensions they gave me for the triangle only. This 4 inches is not part of the triangle. This is part of the height of the prism. Another mistake students were making in the test we took. So these are the dimensions of my triangle that I'm going to need. The base and the height. And another thing I need to remind you is the base and the height are always perpendicular. Perpendicular means they create a right angle right here. So this is my base, this is my height. Why do I need the base and the height of the triangle for? What do I need that information for? I need it because I'm going to find the area of that triangle. And those are the dimensions I need in my formula. So now we can do the area of the triangle. Big B equals 1/2 base times height. 1/2 times my base, which is 5.5, times my height, which is 2. Okay, so write that down. If you have any questions, please let me know where I got the numbers from, but that's why I like to draw it out. So this is my base and my height. 5.5 times 2 times 1/2. That's going to give us 5.5 as our area of the base for this triangle. All right, remember now I'm going to take that 5.5 and I'm bringing it back to the volume formula, which is what I'm being asked to find, the volume of this triangular prism. So you take that area of your base, we plug it in and we multiply it by the height of the prism. 5.5 times 4, 22 inches cubed. I forgot to mention that in the previous example. This is going to be cubed because it's volume. So that is our final answer for the triangular prism, okay? Make sure that you have this example written down really, really carefully and that you understand what we did. But of course, if you ever need to come back and watch the video again, you can just fast forward and watch it to see how we got those numbers, okay? Let's keep going. Let's do a cylinder. The volume of a cylinder, underline that. I'm going to write my formula for a cylinder. Pi r squared times my height will give me the volume of the cylinder. These go super fast. I just need the radius and the height, and they're already labeled. So the only thing here is that that is not a radius. That is a diameter. Good job. So what do I need to do? You got this. Divided by 2. What is half of 26 and half of 8? 13.4. All right, let's go. Oh, wait, what's the height? 9.8. Good job. All right, let's bring these numbers into our formula. 13.4 and 9.8. So this one I made sure that I put the text in black so you can see how to type that into Desmos. So you would go to Desmos, you would type that in there. Carefully use the pi symbol, and we would get 5,528.22 centimeters cubed. And we do round to the hundreds for this problem, okay? All right, so your task now, make sure you have this written down, is to finish the other 2 problems in our notes. And you're going to turn that in as your exit ticket. They are for a grade. And you do need to show your work on your notes. I'm going to walk around and make sure that you're headed in the right direction. Raise your hand if you need help. And then you're going to plug in your answers into this exit ticket in Schoology. So go ahead and take your tablets out and let's get started. All right, come see me during math time if you need help. Bye. Have a good day.